Hey friends, Johnny Quinn with PickleBetter.com. We are the premier pickleball training app. Go to PickleBetter.com, download it. We're going to show you how to warm up, cool down, and do pickleball strength exercises. Hey, today I'm going to show you how I prepare and play my paddle. I like the new Jola Perseus paddle, and I've got all of my gear in here, and I'm going to show you exactly how I prep my paddle for competition. Here we go. Okay, so the first thing I do when I get a new paddle is I like to try to play it stock right out of the gate because I want to reduce the variables. I just don't want to add a bunch of stuff to a paddle just to add stuff to the paddle. So I've tried this Perseus straight out of the gate, and I didn't like the grip. I kept missing some forehands. I don't think it was a talent issue, could have been, but I don't like the grip. And so what we're going to do is we're going to take the grip off. I like the Hyperion grip, and that's what I'm going to put on here. So let's take it off. We got to get rid of the, or slowly take off the paddle band here. And then if you see, it's just taped. And so what you can do is just easily take the tape off. I say easily, and here we go. So we're gonna take the tape around the paddle, and then we're gonna just slowly ungrip a brand new Perseus. I know, the first time I did this, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is a beautiful paddle. And we're not destroying it, but we're just getting the grip off. And so you just peel it off. I've noticed with the Perseus, they've got some extra padding here. I like to leave the padding on there. We're just literally taking the stock grip off the Perseus. And then so what we need to do here is we need to clean the paddle up a little bit, so that's what I'm going to do. Clean the paddle up before we put the Hyperion on. Okay, paddle grips cleaned off. Doesn't need to be perfectly clean, but you can tell I removed quite a bit of it. And so now I am going to put the Hyperion grip on. Now this is from the Ben John's older paddle, the Jola Hyperion. And I just fell in love with this grip. And so I'm literally taking the grip from the old paddle style, and I'm going to put this on my new paddle. Okay, so it's so important that we understand that the diagonal end, this is going to be where we end. And so we've got double-sided tape that we're going to use. And so we're going to open it. We're going to take the tape off. Come on, tape. Okay, now we are ready to apply. And so it's got some like sweat holes in here. We want to make sure that is facing towards the paddle when we put it on. But we're going to go to the right here on the edge of the paddle, and I like to start on one of the diagonal edges and nice and tight right on the edge. So nice and tight. And then I am going to really make sure there's no air bubbles whatsoever. And so you want to take your time on this and get everything really nice and tight. So once you have it gripped, now we want to start taking the grip at an angle so that, and I'd say it's probably about 1/8 of an inch overlapping, but we want to go down at a downward angle and nice and tight. You can't pull too hard. I'm really trying to grip this grip here, but we want it nice and tight, about 1/8 of an inch overlap. And we're going to take it down. I know you can see some of those sweat holes there, which is good. Keep the paddle nice and dry as you're playing. And so notice, I'm yanking this pretty tough. And that's what you want to do when you're re-gripping. We don't want any slack whatsoever. Chances are you'll probably start breaking a sweat. Here we go. Coming here towards the end. Yes, nice and tight. We've got enough here. And then again, I'm keeping it nice and tight. And now we're ready to roll. We're going to put the adhesive on, but I wanted to show you how I grip this nice and tight and no slack. Okay, we are re-gripped. Now it's time to put the adhesive over it. And so the Jola adhesive, it's got, I'm going to take the protector tape off. So let's do that here. Okay, and it's so important we get the Yola facing correctly. We don't want it upside down. And so I've got my grip pulled nice and tight. And now I'm going to make sure that the Yola, yeah, see this is kind of a crazy technical part. Here we go, I'm gonna put it over. Now we want this tight, but we can't go too tight. You'll start to see that the Yola adhesive could potentially rip. So we want it tight, and to go over the grip, but you gotta be smart here and you can't pull it too tight. And then we're gonna wrap that around. Again, we don't want any air bubbles. Take your time here. Nice and tight. And I should have a little adhesive here I need to peel off. Right here at the end. Come on. And if you have to kind of peel it back to get an air bubble out, that's not a problem. It's not the end of the world. I'm gonna get it on there. Last part, we're gonna put the Yola little band back on. These are pretty strong and pretty tough. And get it nice and wide. See? You're not gonna, there we go. And voila, we are now gripped. We got a new grip. I've got the Hyperion grip. I love the little kind of ribbed right here on the handle. It really helps me grip better, especially when it starts to get, my paddle gets a little sweaty. And then got the new grip on here. Time to roll. Paddle's gripped. Now let's put some lead on here. And so what we're gonna do is we're gonna cut about 5 inches. So I've done this before. I know where 5 inches kind of looks like. And what I want is I want towards the bottom of the paddle, and I'm gonna go up almost close to the Yola. And so I'm gonna cut 2 exact areas of lead. Again, it's about 5 inches for me. And I have it at the base of my paddle because I want more stability. If you're looking for more power, you can put it towards the top of your paddle. I'm more of a power player, and so I'm thinking when I'm in a defensive battle, I want stability, and so that's why I'm gonna put lead towards the bottom of my paddle. So once I have it marked here towards the bottom, get a good idea, wrap it around. There's my marker, about right here. Gotta have your trusty scissors with you. And once you have one, you just lay that on top, and we're gonna cut it so you have 2 at the exact same length. Here we go. Okay, let's put some lead on. So the lead has an adhesive. You just peel it off easily, like so. The lead is bendable and moldable. So I want it at the bottom of my paddle. And we're going to wrap it around the base. Nice and flat. Again, this is really moldable. That's where I want it. And then you're going to want to flatten it out, right? I'm going to do the same thing to the other side. So I've got one side with lead. Take the adhesive off the other sheet, which is equally cut, equally spaced. And I'm doing the same thing. Let me get a little visual of where that other one started. And slowly, you can mold it to the outside of your paddle. That's what we want. Boom, bada bing, bada boom. I've got lead onto my paddle. About 10 grams on each side. So we're looking at 20 grams of extra weight here at the base. Now you could leave it like this. I don't. I'm going to show you the last part that I do, because if the lead falls off in competition into the kitchen, it's an immediate violation. Just like if your hat fell off into the kitchen during a point, violation. So we're going to clean this up, and I'll show you the last part with some edge guard. Okay, last part for prepping my paddle. I like to put an edge guard on there. And I'm going to link to all of this within the description, but we're going to start the adhesive, and I'll go down about, I don't know, 7-8 inches here. You know, the adhesive's the hardest part for me. Okay, here we go. And then we're going to trace the paddle. That's what we're going to do. So I'm covering the lead. I'm going to, right there at the base of my paddle. And then you can't pull too hard, because you'll pull the adhesive and you'll make it too skinny, and I don't want to do that. And so I want it to be in alignment with the paddle protector. We're covering the lead here. And this is a little monotonous, but you only have to do it once, right? Once you get it on. And so we're gonna go, I'm over the lead, and I slowly pull more adhesive. And if I have to kind of backtrack a little bit, it's not a problem, but we wanna make sure there's no air bubbles at all. And so what you're seeing here is the first part of this is covered. And we're gonna go around the paddle top. And it's typically around the curves that you start to see that you gotta be extra careful applying, because that's where, you know, a bubble can creep in. But notice that I'm pulling the adhesive with me so I don't have any extra slack. Pulling it around. And I'll just check the top, make sure this is good, right in alignment. And pull it down. We're coming down the other side of the paddle here. Make sure there's no air bubbles. Good. Okay, we're covering the lead. And I'll take a little bit extra time around the lead. We want to make sure that's completely encased. This is good. No air bubbles. And when we get to the end, got a little bit more edge guard that I'm going to need. So I'm going to get my trusty scissors and do a nice clean cut here at the end. Come on. Perfect. And then we're going to finish it. Now that is a nice edge guard. So I've got my lead is taped in. There's no chance it's going to fall out. It's also going to protect my paddle. Plus, I like the black look. I've seen players get creative with this. You can do white, you can do red. There's a bunch of different colors out there. I'm going to link to all of this, the grip, the lead, the edge guard that I use, all in the description. But now this paddle is ready to rock and roll. Hey, if you customize your paddle, let me know. Love to see what you do with yours. Let's go play some pickleball.